So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Visual Studio Code with the Anaconda distribution for Python. This is how I set up my courses at BCIT. And this is so that you can work from home in case there's any problem with the system. Now the two core products are Visual Studio Code, link here, I'll try to get in the description, and Anaconda. And once you get to the Anaconda site, you go Products, Individual Edition, and that. I'm not going to download them. I'll download them shortly in that. But there's one other thing I do. And in this video, we're just going to get the base products installed. And in the second video, we'll show you how, I'll show you some of the tweaks that I do in terms of which extensions I use and how I create virtual environments and then use those particular environments in Visual Studio Code. But the very first tweak is environment variables. It's here on my start menu, but you can always type it in. Right, you start typing in env, edit environment variables. And then environment variables, and I'm going to go down at the bottom here. And the one I use, because I do multi-user installs, is VSCode _ extensions. And I set that to a particular location on disk in that. And that means when I add extensions to VSCode, they go in this particular directory. So again, if you're a single user on a single machine, you may not have to do this in that. But this I find works well if you're supporting a multi-user environment. So what I want to do here, I'm just going to cancel this for now. So I've already created that environment variable, is I'm going to download the software. So I'll start with Anaconda. Again, Anaconda, if you're on the main page, products, individual edition. And then I'm going to download the 64-bit version for Windows. And I'm going to put this in a particular directory. So download, and near the bottom will be War Python. So I'll get this download happening. And now I'll go over and I'll get the download for Visual Studio Code. Now this, depending what system you're on, the user installer is probably going to work for you. I'm going to stick with my standard system installer in that, but you may not have to do this. I'm just going to grab the 64-bit version. And save it to this directory. So that'll have the software. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the base install on these products. Okay, and then we'll come back and do the tweaks. So on a show in folder, I'm in my War folder. So War Python folder popped up on the other screen here. Now on these, when they're EXEs, I like to right click and run as administrator. Sometimes I do get some very, I do get some differences with how things get installed if I just run the EXE as a regular user. So I'm going to run it as administrator. And it'll pop up. I don't do too many changes here, except I do always set the path. I don't like paths with spaces in them. So I'll go yes. And so that's one thing I try to avoid, but you know, lots of times spaces and paths don't cause a problem. And for me, every once in a while, you hit that. So all users, and I'm going to change this because I don't like polluting the system area. I'll put all the apps that I install in a different directory. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to go next. I'm okay with these right now. Okay. And that. So that's good for that install. We'll just let that run. Nothing too crazy there. We'll just let that finish up. So the key here is, again, this video is just how do we get the base products in. And in the second video, we'll come back, create the virtual environments in Anaconda, initialize, I guess, yeah, the command shells so that they're aware of Python. And then on the VSCode side, get some basic Python extensions in, and then make those extensions aware that we've actually installed Anaconda. Setting up the base environment can take a while, so just be patient. Well, that finally wrapped up. It took a while. I'll just go next onto this and finished. I don't actually need these right now. I'm going to move on to the Visual Code installer, and I'm just going to go back. show in folder. And again, I'll right click on VS Code, run as administrator. And again, basically I just changed the path like I did before. And I'll put it into my C apps directory once it pops. Again, I don't like spaces in my path. So that would be good. And I will go next, next, and then next, and then install. So again, this video is just about let's get the base products in, the 2 products that are involved in that one environment variable. And then we can get busy about tweaking the products in terms of virtual environments, extensions, and making the extensions in VS Code aware of where I put the Anaconda, I guess, distribution of Python. So it's finished. So I'm going to bring Visual Studio Code onto the screen. It popped off on my other terminal there, or popped up. And so this is how it comes default installed. If we go over to extensions, there aren't any installed yet in that, but there's lots to pick from. So, but this concludes this video for now, and we'll see you in the next one.